issues. And on YouTube only today, we're going to ditch Twitter altogether, and hopefully this comes up a treat. So I've got my chicken badge on, my brooch on, so for a good reason. Just while we're waiting for everyone to come online and get started, what I'm doing today is the new annual catalogue's been released, and with it, so has the Celebration catalogue. Now, Celebration is Stampin' Up's beginning of the year extravaganza, if you want to call it that. But it's a way of celebrating all that Stampin' Up does, and it's a way of giving back. Now, if I showed you this, it's going to be back to front. But if I was to pull it over onto my other screen, oh, I can hear noises. Oh, that looks like a husband's home. So the dogs are going to bark, so I'm sorry about that. Just pop into the chat and tell me that we're not fuzzy today, but I'm just going to pop you over to my other screen so I can show you the little Celebration brochure. This is it here. What it is, what happens during Celebration, it's run through January and February. We have shopping, hosting, and joining specials during this time. So if you shop any Stampin' Up products in Australia and you spend $90 or greater, so in increments of $90, you can get a free stamp set from or free item from our level 1 in here. So this case, it would be designer series paper. Looking good? Yep. Thanks, Lisa. I'm glad. And this one here, for example, is a watermelon ink pad. So all is happening well. If you were to host a workshop or put an order greater than $500 in, you'll actually get an additional $50 worth of free product in your host rewards. So to host a workshop, I would come to yours, or you can bring half a dozen friends to my place, and we can do a workshop here. You can make some cards, pop some orders through. If those orders go greater than $500, the host, which is whoever the person that brings the 6 friends, will get the $50 worth of extra credit. My favorite one is the joining special. Okay, Celebration is a great time to join. And if you jump down to the back of the catalogue, okay, I'll just show you a couple more free things along the way. This one here is free with $180 spend. So two lots of the $90, but you get a stamp set and an embossing folder, for example. All right, over here, this one here is a different stamp set. It's cling stamps. There's more of them. It's a bigger set. So again, it's a level 2. You need to spend the $180. All right. But joining now, this is the best bit. So if you were to join, you would have the choice that you get your $235 worth of product for $169. But you would have the choice of getting an extra, the Stampin' Glass Mat Studio, which comes with the Stampin' Glass Mat. It's a 5mm thick tempered glass mat. I'm using it below me here. It is absolutely smick. Janet Wakeland is a demonstrator in the US who has done an amazing video on all the wonderful things that you can do with this mat. I can link that in the post if that's what you'd like. Actually, I will. There's also a chamois to clean it, and there's a silicone mat, so that you can use a silicone mat to hold things still, put some ink on, paint with it, all of that sort of stuff. Or you can get $51 worth of extra product. Now, what I'm encouraging everyone to do is get the glass mat, but it is another thing to store if you're not stamping in the same spot. But if you're stamping on a dining room table, for example, they're not always even. I know mine definitely isn't. But if you stamp on a glass mat, you will get a beautiful image because it's nice and smooth. You can cut on it, and it won't scratch. It's got a white base underneath it with rulers on it, so it has all of these things going for it. It's easy, clean, etc., and it's heat proof as well. So you could actually put it in the middle of the dining room table and put your dinner on it, but if you wanted to. But it cleans up beautifully, because you can always get the $51 worth of product later. But the glass mat is only for new people signing up at the moment. All right. If they don't exhaust their supplies of it in the South Pacific, they will go and they will add them to our supplies list, but there's no guarantees. Okay, so just keep that in your mind when you are joining. That's probably the better option. It's $106 retail value in Australia. Otherwise, it's $51 worth of extra product. The choice is yours, but I think this is a winner. Okay, without we're on a bit of a rush today because I've got people arriving at 4:30 and they're bringing kids and they're a bit noisy. So what I thought I'd do today, I absolutely love the Cutest cows in the new catalogue. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I love it. Well, it's got a chicken in it, and we all know, my class ladies all know that I love chickens. I've been playing chicken math in the chicken shed up the thing, and if you've looked at any of my posts on my Facebook page, you'll quite frequently see chickens featured. But I've got my chicken brooch ready. All right, but if you look down here, look, there's a mummy chicken, there's a baby chicken, and there's a rooster in it. I'm not using them today. Well, I'm using her, but like, how cute are they? All right, so the Cutest Cows bundle is a stamp set and a punch bundle. Yes, today, Chris, I've ditched Twitter and I've been playing half the day with my settings. So yes, clear as a bell today, and we're going to keep it as it is. All right, so this is a stamp and a punch bundle. It comes in at $72.75. So if you get a couple of extra things, you would be eligible for a celebration item. Okay, now with that, today I'm actually going to be using, let me see, I'll just pull it across. I'm going to be casing the catalogue, and I'm going to make this card or similar, okay, a Courtney style. So in here, in the celebration brochure, there's lots of designer series paper, and I do love consumables. And let me just find the page it's on. There's this Flight and Airy paper. I've just got a couple of little samples of it, but look how pretty it is. It's all birdies and soft, subtle colors. It actually reminds me, I think my friend Cheryl's going to love this. All right, look how pretty that paper is. This is just a little card front size, okay? But then when you turn it over, we've got some pretty florals, some plains. They're a bit like a watercolor wash. All right, just some plain leaves. There's little birdies on it, and there's this one here. Now, the card in here, not that one. Oh, that's not the one I want. But the card in here uses the glorious gingham bundle or designer series paper. So I thought that I'd trade it out for this piece. Okay, this is pecan pie color. So that's from that set. It does have some pretty birds on the other side, but I'm going to use the plain side today. Okay, so I pulled out a pecan pie base, and we're going to make this one. I've got all my blends that I've decided to use there. I'm going to say this slowly. I've got my brushed brass butterflies ready because they also feature on there. And I've already got all of my, I'm a bit organized today. I've already got all my stamps on, we're on page 53 for those of you that have got your catalogue. I've already got all of my stamps on blocks. Okay, so one thing that Janet showed us, I haven't actually opened this, and I will. But if you get a bit of adhesive on your table, which I do have left over from the other day, if you just scrunch this up and you give it a bit of a, even the adhesive comes off. Okay, so it cleans up beautiful. If in case you wanted to know, put a little bit, that's alcohol marker. Now, alcohol marker dries, doesn't normally come off anything. I'm just giving it the opportunity to dry. But look, watch this. And it's gone. How cool is that? So you will love this. This is a bit thinner than our regular chamois. My regular chamois has seen some serious love, so ignore it. But like, that's quite thick, whereas this one's thin. They still feel very similar, and it just rinses out with water. Now, what I'll be doing with this, I'll be drying it flat on my mat after I've finished with it and after I've cleaned it. just so that it stays nice and flat and it doesn't go, let's say, moldy. Is that a nice way of putting it? Rather than, I was going to say festery. Right, so I'll just put that to the side. Okay, so I've got all my blends there. I've got my punch. So this is pecan pie. Oh, I've left it a little bit damp. Just give it a quick dry. This is pecan pie cardstock. So I'll just give it. I found that my images are so nice when I stamp on this mat. Okay, now this will need to be trimmed down a little. Okay, so I'm just grabbing my trimmer. Because I'd cut it at 6 inches deep, but then I'd cut them all at 10 centimeters, and you get 6 of this size out of one sheet of designer series paper. I'm going to cut it at 14.4 to go on my piece here. And this one's a little bit greater than 10, so I'll just trim it up. Okay, now there's a little piece stuck in here, so we'll just get that out. It doesn't want to come out with my scissors. Okay. Right. Now the grass for this stamp, for this card, was made with the what are they called? The Sending Love dies, which are in the catalogue. I don't actually have that yet. I'm not sure. I can't remember what page they're on it either. I won't show you them. You can have a look. You can look them up. They've got like a post box in the works with it. It's made from the grass is made from those. Because I don't have that yet. That's as crooked as a dog's hind leg. What did I do? Oh no, it's just my eyes. Looking through the wrong part of my glasses. I don't have that. I don't have the Sending Love dies yet. I may not even actually get them. So I'm going to have to make the grass up myself. Now, the other thing is, you'll notice the card example is a landscape card. I like doing portraits, so I'm going to make this a portrait card. Hopefully, I have enough room. Okay, so let's see how we go. But I figure there's some things that I can do to make this easier for doing as a portrait card. Okay, so the catalogue's there for you to use as an ideas thing. All right, this is going to be my basic white. It will need cutting down because I don't want to hide all of this paper. I'll just put my trimmer there to the side. Okay, so I have a regular size that I do these in, but I'm going to cut this one down to 8 centimeters wide, and let's make it, I don't know, 11 centimeters tall. See how it sits on the card. Yep, that'll work for me. So that's going to let us see some of that feature paper as well. Probably could have made it a little bit bigger, but what do I do? 8 centimeters. Let's see what 9 centimeters looks. And look, if you've got one of your new dies, the postage stamp dies that go with the that beautiful lavender suite, they will work perfectly. But one of your decorative edge dies would look beautiful as well. So we've got this one here, or might take a little bit more off the side of that, make it 8.5. What do you reckon? Do we go with the bigger one or the smaller one? All right, we've got 2 to play with. I've also got some garden green. Now, depending on which piece we decide to use, will depend on how big we make it. So I'm just going to do a strip of garden green. So one of them was 8.5. That's this one here. I'm thinking the bigger one will be better. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. Let's go with the bigger. All right. So I don't have the dies that would give you a nice grassy look. You can cut it to have a grassy look. You can do whatever you like with it. There is a grass stamp, all right? And I might get a bit bored doing this, but I can talk to you while I do it. I'm going to completely cover it in grass because I want it to look at least grassy. And if you wanted to, you could come along and you could, oops, you could do a bit of creative cutting. And if you do a bit of stamping off, all right, so this is what our cow is going to be standing in. Okay. He's in the paddock. All right. I'm trying to do this as messy as I possibly can because I want messy. All right. Now, you'll notice I've got a little bit of ink on my glass mat here. Well, I've got to be careful. I don't want that to transfer to my fingers, so I'll just give that a bit of a wipe and it's gone. If I wanted to, I could do a bit of creative cutting with my scissors, but I'm thinking that I'll probably bodge it up if I do. If you wanted to, you could tear it if you like the tearing feature. All right, so if I was to put that there, so far we're looking good. They've used a shorter piece, but that's okay. We've got a lot of creative space that we're working with here. Now, we're going to stamp colour with our Stampin' Blends. I'm going to do my cow first because I want to make sure that everything fits, okay? So what I did was I bought some scraps over. The long piece isn't a scrap, it's a creative word for a scrap. Okay, so I'll get all the pieces ready. So my head's actually going to fit on this piece here. Now you'll notice that there's a couple of different heads in the pack, so just be aware of that. I was going to do it in Memento, but I decided to do Stampin' Basic in my basic grey instead, just because I think that will give me nicer when I'm blending, but the choice is yours. So if I stamp my cow head, right, and I need my cow body, my cow's going to be standing around the wrong way because I picked the wrong stamp up. So let's get the other one out because this cow's going in both directions. So that one's not going to punch out. I actually need the other cow. Where's the body? There's 3 bodies and there's three heads in here. One body and one head. One body and 2 heads will punch out with a punch. So let's get another block. Well, that was too big. So one of the cow bodies is sitting down. I'm going the other end because I might still use that other cow because you can hand cut them. Okay. Right, so that's that there. Now I will be doing some fussy cutting because why did I close that? I didn't want to close that. I have got the little milk jug. I'll stamp it there. And I pulled out the chicken. Initially I pulled out the rooster, but then the rooster's standing in the wrong direction for what I want. And I've got the bell. Now, you could cut the bell out, but I'm actually going to stamp the bell on when I've worked out where my head's going to sit. Okay, that makes sense? So we'll stamp the bell on after because I think he needs the bell. It's teeny tiny. You're going to have to be careful. No, I'm using it straight on. So I find I get just so that everyone can see. Lisa's asked, so no more soft mat for the clear stamps on the glass. I've found that I can stamp straight on the glass mat and I get a really good image. So no, you don't need to as far as I'm concerned. I'm not sure when it comes to sentiments, but I actually find I get a clearer stamp. So I haven't been using it on the glass mat. Anything that I've stamped, I've just stamped straight on the glass mat. I am going to punch these out before I colour them, because I don't want to do... Why is that not fitting? Because it's the wrong head. Wrong body, wrong head. All right, let me clean that one and get the other head. So there's 3. I wanted this one. Why is that not fitting? That's not right. Okay. I don't want the winky cow, because one of them's winking at you. See what I mean? That one's got a wink. Right. Let's try again, hey? And we'll do it. Yeah, it'll still fit on this piece. Right. So I always punch this way up. Ah, look at that. That fits so much better. I've got to hold my tongue right though. And it's new, and it's on the other side of the... Oh, no, here it is. Probably should have punched it a few times first. Quite frequently when they're new, you get like this grease mark around them, and that's because they're new and they've been oiled up before they come to us, and like sharpened and all, had all their bits done. So this one should punch out. Give it some lubrication. This one should punch out better because it's got more bits of paper in it. Right. But yeah, you'll notice there's a little bit of a grease mark around everything, and that's just because the punch is new. Okay, punch it a couple of times through some cardstock and it'll come out good. Now, this here is horns and a nose. Okay, this here, if you want it to be, is a extra bit of tail. Okay, so if you want to put some dimensional up your tail. All right, I'm not using those pieces today. Okay, I'm just going to use that piece and my body, and I'm going to fussy cut my chicken. I might colour him in first, okay, because he's only tiny, squidgy. Okay, and then I'm going to put my cow head like that, which means I can stamp this teeny tiny little bell about there, okay, because I want to colour it in too. Okay, so if you haven't come across our Stampin' blends yet, they come in a huge range of our colours. They're alcohol markers. They will dry out if you leave the lid off. Trust me, ask how I know that one. They will dry out if you leave the lid off. They have, there's a white marker that you can push the colour through so that it goes to the other side. It's a bit like an eraser, but it's essentially pushing the colour through to the other side of the box. This one here that I'm using is Dark Smoky Slate. For those of you that are demonstrators, if you have a look in the catalogue section of your page, you will note of your demonstrator portal, there is an area there where you can actually get all the recipes for the cards. You can download them. Okay, so all the cards that are examples in all of your books, you can get a recipe for it so that you can see how to make it. All right, which is rather handy, let me tell you. Okay, so one, I love those milk jugs. I'm going to make it the cow this colour too. So she's going to be the same colour as well, but we're just going to colour in her spots. So this is the dark, no, this is the light one. Okay. So I'm just doing a little bit. I'll do her ones on her body light, and I'll do her tail in dark. You can use either the brush or the pen tip when you're colouring so fine. And I'm going to do her hooves with the dark as well, because they don't need a shadow under them. And if you push a little bit there, just because she's a little bit dirty under there. I could have made a pink under there, couldn't I? Although there's no udder, so because we've got a bit of shadow. All right. Because, you know, cows are never fully white. They're not always pristine and clean. Okay, so I'm going to put on her head, I'm going to do a little bit under here and some under this part of her in the dark. Okay. They've coloured the, actually that'll probably sit there too. I wonder if that's where it's supposed to be. I reckon it looks more like tail. But anyway, it's a same shape here too. And then I've got, this is petal pink. That's a dark one, the light one. Let's put a little bit of that in her ears. And on a snout. Okay, so you can get creative with it however you want to colour it in. I'm thinking I probably should have left it on the big piece of paper before I what's it called? Before cutting her out, because it's easier. So, all right. So yeah, so if ever you're stuck and you've got a stamp set in your hand and you're not sure what to do, have a look at what's in your catalogue. See what the suggestion is in there, and you can come up with some really good stuff. Okay. So this is our Stampin' blends. Careful when you put the lids back on that you don't stuff your tips up. Right, and there's petal pink. This is petal pink, and so I'm just giving her a little bit of colour on her face there. Now, my little chicken, my chicken, she's an adult chicken. What colour? Oh no, that's I'm not using that. She can be a grey colour as well. I've got all different coloured chickens up the front. The black ones are really cute. All right. And she can have, I'll put a bit of pumpkin pie on her beak. And because she's a big girl, she can have a beautiful bright red comb because she's at egg laying age. What do you reckon? Okay. So I'm going to need those back again in a minute, but I've got to cut her out. So using your sharp snips, just give her, pop around her, cut her out, and see how everything's got a little white edge around it. You want to stick with that sort of thing, just so that it looks similar to what you've already got happening on your page. Okay. Got a bit close there. Got to hold your tongue in the right spot sometimes. One chicken, sorry. And here's a milk jug. Nice straight edges, love that. These snips cut beautifully up a nice straight edge. Across there. Across here. And around there. Okay, one milk jug. So that's all my little bits that I'm going to need for that. So I'll just pop them up to there. Now, my little cow, she's such a cutie. She's going to sit quite forward here. Oh, I didn't colour my bell. We need some. Oh, these are in bad condition. My Daffodil Delight. I was going to get some new ones, but I just didn't do it yet. So she's going to sit there like so. This one's going to sit probably with her tail in front of it, and my chicken. So I want my flowers going up the back here. How cute is she? All right, so let's stick our flowers. The flowers can be quite, if we do them right, we can make them quite tall. So I'll just move that down a smidge. So you could stamp your flowers in your memento if you wanted to, but I'm going to stick with my basic grey. Okay. Because I know that it's looking good. Now I've moved my grass down a quarter of an inch, half a centimetre, just so that I can line my flowers up with it. Because when I push that back up, they're going to be standing there nice and tall. Okay. And I could do a second set, just one over here for my chicken to stand in front of. Okay. And then we have to colour those in. Dries quite quickly, just to give you the heads up in this weather. Okay. So we need to colour these in. My grass is going to go on here. Let's actually glue that on. Okay. Okay. So that we can now colour in. So we've got some granny apple green here to match our grass. So if we wanted to, we could put some grass up there. This is the light one. So I might just go down a couple of edges with the dark one. So this one here is underneath that one, that leaf there. So is that bit there. Put a bit there, a bit there. So wherever you think it might be a little bit darker, put some of your dark. Okay. And leaves as they get higher, get lighter. But they do as they get bigger as well. So just be aware of that. But we just want to make them look a little bit more than just single coloured. Okay, so that's part of our leaf. And then we'll just come in on the other side and we'll neaten that up a bit. And you'll notice, I'm not sure how easy it is to see. I know we're not fuzzy, so that's a big win. But at least we're easier to see I'm hoping it's easy to see how these colors blend together, so to give you a nice smooth look on it, so you don't look like you've got lines. You can tell this is my favorite color. It's getting a bit dry, this one. Okay, and because the alcohol ink, they will not move, those Stampin' blends. That grey ink. These look to me like sunflowers. So to me, they're going to be sunflowers. So I'm going to give them a nice big orange center. Okay. This is the dark pumpkin pie. All right. If you wanted to put a little bit of light around the outer edges of it, you can. It'll just make it so that there's a little bit of shadow and stuff in there, but you don't need to. You can pull it a little bit into the flowers because we're going to add some Daffodil Delight over them, those petals. And by adding Daffodil Delight, I'm going to use the dark one. It just makes my flowers petals stand out perfect, and it just gives them a little bit of a two-tone effect. You will need to use the bullet end for this bit because otherwise it's going to be really easy to go outside of the lines. Okay. Looking pretty smick. And so my cow can stand here in front of that bunch of flowers, and my chicken can stand over here in front of that bunch of flowers. So you can see how good it will look if you had the grass, like thready bits of grass rather than that perfectly smooth bit of grass. And he's going to stand up there on my... I should have stuck him on there all at one go and cut it all out as one go, but that's all right. These things happen. So got a bit of a gap there in the middle, but that's okay. I actually deliberately wanted that. How cute is he? So what we need to do now is, I'll just move these all out of the way. We need a sentiment on here because this bit's going to sit. All right. I haven't done any twine or anything like that, but I think it needs some. What do you reckon? So let's vote yes or no for twine. You can do that while I'm just cleaning that stamp off so I don't put my elbow in it. And what I'm going to do is, I had a piece of pumpkin pie here. I thought I had a piece of pumpkin pie here. I pulled it out, left it on the bench behind me. All right, so we want to know, do we want, what did I say we want to vote for? Oh, I don't remember now. Someone remind me. Right, we need a piece of pumpkin pie, and I've got my old favourites, the Stylish Shapes dies, because we need the sentiment. And we need this one. Okay. Some twine. Yeah, I think we need twine. What do you reckon? I think we need twine. So if I just grab it. Some basics. Because I like twine. Lowell doesn't think it needs twine. Lisa thinks twine. We need a third person. Okay, so while we're thinking a third person twine, yes or no, I'll just cut this. Make a bit of noise first. You could use your mini if you've got a mini, because this particular one will fit through the mini. Okay. So I only need a little bit of this. I just like twine. Twine might warm up my edge there a bit, but it won't be really putting it where I think it needs something extra. Okay. So what I've got is this piece here. And then I've got what's the moo with you? So essentially, what's wrong with you? And most of you are going to say nothing. They're all sweet. All right. This is one of those things that makes everyone go, wow. Let's do some embossing. Okay, the embossing powders come, this is Versamark, don't mind how embossy it looks. It's a clear ink. It's like a glycerin type ink. It stays damp when you stamp it on. Oh, I didn't do my embossing buddy. Where's my embossing buddy? I'll just give it a bit of a wipe. This is the embossing buddy. Just give it a bit of a wipe with the embossing buddy. Because then that stops all the fingerprints and extra little bits. And done. So what's new with you? So what's new with you? Let's do what's new with you. This is the white Stampin' Emboss powder. This is how I keep it. It comes in a 3-pack. All right. Put some of that on it. I think there's black and clear in the same pack. All right. This was one of those things that made me go, wow. All right. Now, I've got this tiny little piece. I'm going to need the embossing, what are these called? Tweezers. Because otherwise I'm going to burn my finger. All right. Got the heat tool on, so I'm not sure what the hearing capabilities are at the moment. Look at that. And we'll just take it out of this. What's moo with you? Okay. And that's going to sit there. So if I was to do twine, based on my other colours, I could do grey at the back here or down here or even up here and just do a little messy bow up there. Or I could just put, oh, I know what I'm going to do. All right, I've made my decision. We're having twine and I'm putting it as a messy circle up here. Okay, let's put this baby together. I haven't stamped the inside or done anything for the inside yet, but that's okay. If I get caught out and my visitors arrive, you're all just going to have to imagine what the inside looks like. All right. So we're going to put glue on the back of that. Make sure we're the right way up. Not that it matters for this piece. And put that piece down. Okay. This piece is going to go flat. Look, see how the blends come through. And pop it on. Starting to look quite cute. Now, my chicken is going to go on flat, I think. Could have the chicken sitting off to the edge here. Yep, let's do that. Chicken's going to go on flat. He's going to sit up there. And the jug's going to go on with a dimensional. Take your pick tools, not sitting on the table. Oh, chicken turned. Chicken is now standing on said jug. Okay. I'm going to put the cow on some dimensionals. You could stick the cow body on flat, but I'm sticking it on some dimensionals just because I can. She's going to be down here in the paddock a bit. And the choice is yours whether you stick your head on with one dimensional, which will mean it's laying flat against there, or whether you take the back off this dimensional and stick a second dimensional so it's too high, and stick her head on here. Now, if you wanted to get really creative, just have to make sure that your dimensionals are higher than her neck. If you wanted to get really creative, you could put one of those little folded springy things in underneath her head so that it sits flat and then it pops up when you pop her on. Okay, so this one here is going to go here. I'm thinking it might be a bit long, but because I want to add my twine, I'm going to add my twine up here. So I'll just put that to the top, because I did want to have some twine. The girls in my class know I love fibre on my cards. There's just something extra special about them with a bit of fibre. Okay. I've wound that around there a couple of times. I'm sticking it down with some tear tape because I can. All right. These scissors are used to cutting paper. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to send this piece here underneath there. Cut that off there. All right, and I'll just wind this around my fingers a couple of times. Okay, and then I'm going to pop that in there. So rather than doing a bow, I've ended up with a messy knot of sorts. But you'll see you can actually manipulate it to whatever you want. All right. And that's going to sit on some dimensionals as well. Okay, now with the dimensionals, you can't stick them where this tear tape is. So you can pull that piece there off and stick one there because it's going to need two. All right, I have stuck them a bit lower than I would normally because there's no room up here to put it. I'm just going to cut these bits a bit. Okay, and then we'll pop this here. that to the side. And we'll stick some brushed brass butterflies on here. Now, I don't have my trusty tool with me. I can hear that we've got people have arrived and they're bringing a couple of rowdies with them. So I am going to go. Hope that you enjoy that. I will finish off this card offline. And ta-da! All right. So hopefully you like that bundle. It's a lot of fun. It's really cute. I'm sure if we wait a little bit, there'll be some great fun pin, what's it called? Punch art critters that are made with the cow punch. If you look up punch art on Pinterest, you'll find a heap of our other Stampin' Up punches have been used to create some amazing little guys, girls, all that sort of stuff, and animals. So there's always someone that thinks outside of the box. Just remember, during celebration, perfect time to join. You'll find my link in the description below. And yeah, I hope to see you soon. And anyone that does join, welcome to the Uni Crew Crafters. All right, not a problem. See ya.